There are sometimes these habits that are very hard to actually change. For example, pornography, in my case. I believe these are the ones that are very rewarding to actually change, but they're very hard and it takes a lot of time. And I think the hardest part of being able to change these deep-rooted habits is the fact that you have to understand your motivations behind doing these habits. Specifically, understanding my motivation for reaching out to that certain habit once I feel a certain emotion. One thing that I would recommend you guys to do is to ask yourself why. I don't know, there's a name for it, but it's like the why loop, where you continuously ask yourself why. You answer that, then you ask yourself, why is that true? And why is this? For example, in my case, what emotion am I struggling to deal with, which causes me to reach to pee? The answer is loneliness. The next question would be, why was I feeling lonely today? Or why am I feeling lonely in general? And continue asking yourself to fully notice the root cause of why you're doing a certain thing and why you're not able to quit a certain habit. There's a video from a very well-known NoFap YouTuber, which he talked about find that root and cut it off. He actually went to some farm or plant area and actually demonstrated what he was talking about. You don't care about cutting these leaves at the tips. Sure, you're going to the gym, you're taking cold showers, you're taking care of yourself, you're reading books, you're educating yourself. These are all the leaves. What you want to cut is the roots of that addiction. Because if the leaves are cut, they can just grow back, right? I'll link it down in the description. Once you cut that root, the fight becomes much easier because you know who you're fighting against, exactly who's the opponent, and what it takes to beat that opponent. And this is partly how I overcame my addiction. As I mentioned, it does take a lot of reflecting and being honest with yourself, which is very rewarding, not only for the case of overcoming that certain bad habit that you have, but also in general. You become someone more confident in yourself because once you know yourself more, you understand yourself more and trust yourself more. And as a result, you'll be more confident in yourself because trust is directly correlated with confidence. Next one is heavily influenced by Atomic Habits, which is make it your identity. One thing that I learned while overcoming my addiction was through Atomic Habits. If you want to break a habit, don't just try to break it. Become the kind of person who doesn't do it. For example, instead of saying, I'm trying to quit pornography, which implies that you have not actually succeeded, you're trying to succeed. Reframe it to, I am someone who does not consume pornography. This shift in language reinforces that idea that I am not the kind of person who engages in that behavior. And by framing your identity in this way and sharing it with others, you strengthen both the social aspects of my commitment and also your personal belief of what you're capable of. One thing I want to add regarding these deep-rooted bad habits is that if you don't have this deep motivation to change, you won't actually be able to change. No matter how much you try, you will come back to that bad habit unless you really are so motivated to change. Because it takes a lot of effort to dig deep and understand why you're even stuck in that rabbit hole. And then it takes even more effort to battle that rabbit hole. So yeah, be very honest with yourself and what you actually want. This is how I was finally able to beat my addiction rather than beat my... I had to be so motivated to change that even in the darkest times, I would be able to see some light to look up to. I have an hour-long video where I share everything I learned about this addiction and how I was able to overcome it. So if you're currently in the process of overcoming some sort of bad addiction that is taking you months or years to overcome, I highly recommend you guys to check this video out. If you're interested in learning about the power of habits and how you can make it work for you and help you live the life you actually want to live, check out part 1 of this video series. This is actually part 5, and I'll drop part 6 as soon as we hit 50 likes, or next week, whichever comes first. But I would really appreciate it if you like this video. So this video is able to reach the right audience and impact the right people. And with that said, you will see me in the next banger.